First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday, starting around 1 p.m. and going throughout the afternoon, covering a wide range of topics. And in case you didn't know, today is November 6th, 2024. While we're recording this, yesterday was kind of a big day. There was an election. You may have heard about it. And the thing is, now, after this election is over, at least as far as the presidential side of things, there may be some people that you know in your life who may be feeling a bit of anxiety, a bit of stress. Probably we've all had that, no matter what side you are on, even leading up to this election and now afterward. Certainly that's going to be the case. So this is not a partisan debate. This isn't anything addressing whose side you were for or not. It's just talking about people who are going through some of those things, some of those emotions and feelings that happen after this. And so we wanted to get to that and just talk about how to handle that. And to do so, we have an expert joining us. We have Dr. Brian Licuanan, a clinical psychologist. And doctor, thanks for being here. And, obviously I'm sure everybody knows somebody who's going through something with this. And, associated with that, what do you think are some of the big things that people should be thinking about right now after this election is over, as everybody's, wrapping their mind around where we're at now?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for having me here. And a very important topic, of course, dealing especially with the emotions and mental health happening with such a big decision and momentous time for us. And so to answer your question, I think for anyone out there, whether or not their candidate was the one that they favored or wasn't the one they chose, is take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, set back and be present in the moment. We have to be able to step away from this all. It's been a lot in the past few years, weeks, months, days leading up to this. And it's been a lot to take on a physical, mental, and emotional level, depending on where you fell on the spectrum of your involvement. But it's important to, like I said, take a deep breath and realize, okay, what's the next steps? And to stay and engage in the other parts of your life that are critically important. We forget about that when we get so engrossed in something. And so the physical, mental, your relationships, your social relationships, your work, and all of those things, it's important to re-engage with those.
Yeah, to pay attention to all those other parts of your life that may have been neglected possibly during this run up to it. Is that pretty much what you mean?
Pretty much is that there's several aspects of our life, and sometimes when we're so invested in something, we neglect or negate those other areas of our life. So now is the time to reset, reevaluate, and start attending to those other areas of our life.
And for people out there, who may know someone, perhaps, wherever you fell on the spectrum of this, as you mentioned, it could be all over the place. What if there's someone who is obviously going through a stressful time, has anxiety for various reasons? What is the best way to encounter that person and to try to help them, I guess, in this situation?
Well, the best thing to do, and I think for the people, like I said, there's a variety of emotions. For some people, it's excitement, there's anticipation, and then for some people, there's disappointment, anger, and frustration, confusion. And for definitely those people who are struggling on that latter side, who are distressed and disappointed and maybe angry, is just allow them their time to grieve. Sometimes people will need some time away, allow them that space. Other ways is just to listen to them. And a great way to listen is to listen to them unconditionally, with unconditional regard and just acceptance. You may not agree with what they have to say, but just be present in the moment and allow them to feel, because feelings are meant to be felt, they're not fact. And so this is a grieving process for those people who are on that other side of it. And a grieving process is to allow all those feelings to channel out. And one way we could do that is just be present in the moment for them and hear them out without having to respond or develop into some type of discussion or contentious discussion, because we know that we've been having that along all levels throughout these whole weeks and months and even years.
Yeah, that's, I think there's been no shortage of that for no matter how people look at it. So I like this. So taking a deep breath, listening to someone. What are some other key things that people can be doing across the board right now?
Set some new goals for yourself, right? And one of the biggest things that I talk about with any situation that is tough to deal with is we have to work on being acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean we have to agree with everything. We just have to reach a level of peace where we can start to move on. So that's going to be a big thing. Another thing that I think is important to think about is recognizing what we can and cannot control. A lot of times when we're distressed and have a lot of anxiety, we're too focused on the things we can't control, things that are happening in the future. Research shows, psychologists did a research that 70 to 80% or more of what we are anxious about never comes to fruition. So we entertain a lot of those thoughts that are out of our reach. So that'd be another thing. The last thing, too, is to refrain from catastrophizing. Catastrophizing means to think of the worst case outcome. And so recognizing what we have now, what we can do now, and not what we don't have or what was taken away from us.
Gotcha. So going through those steps and thinking about that, and going back to what you said there at the beginning too. So it sounds like take a deep breath and re-engage with some of those other parts of your life as well.
Exactly.
In general, I mean, this is all great advice. I think people can take. Again, no matter where you fall on the spectrum of what this is. Anything else that you think is important for people to know, just for general good mental health and well-being during this time, and maybe just in general?
Trust your gut. If you feel like you're struggling, ask for help. If there's no shame, it takes a lot of humility and strength to actually raise your hand and say, I need some help. If you find yourself engaging in behaviors that are to an extreme, like, for example, unhealthy ways of coping, you're isolating, you're engaging in substances is increasing, you're angry and irritable, you can't sleep, please ask for help sooner than later. Don't let it compound. Don't let it exacerbate. Don't let it get to the point where it becomes really concerning. There's other ways you can do that through therapy, support groups, people you trust, your pastor, your priest, anybody you trust. But it's important to have conversations with people and to also share and be heard.
Great. I mean, this is all, again, great advice. And just to kind of recap, talking about that, those ways that people can do that. And for those who maybe are on the other side, listen to people, let them have their time and their space as well. It's pretty much what I'm gathering from what you said.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm focusing on.
Yeah. Well, Doctor, thank you very much. I really appreciate you having some time to talk to us about this. This is important for everybody out there. Again, no matter where you fell on this, it has been a very, I think, a big weight on everybody leading up to this election, and obviously afterward now, what everybody's going through. But I love that advice. Take a breath. That's really good. So, Doctor, thank you for having some time to talk to us here today. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. Take care.
You too. And for everybody watching, again, we are live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. I appreciate you being here. Depending on when you're watching this, feel free to share this segment. It's on our YouTube channel for Fox 12 Oregon. It's at kptv.com, or of course on the Fox 12 Oregon app. So you can go to any one of those places and share this, let other people know about it, and everybody's going through something on whatever side, and just I think the bottom line there was be respectful to everyone and take that breath. But thanks for joining us. We will be back soon with more Fox 12 Now.